We'll do the vocabulary for the first 2 or 3 questions, and then move on to some other questions. So question 1. Fernando has been to the success of the company, so everyone is very worried about what will happen after he quits next month. Oh no! Fernando, where are you going? So the first word is desperate. I'll switch my keyboard from Japanese. Desperate. Gotta make it bigger so you can see it. I had it set about 22. That's good. Okay. Desperate means you really, really want something. But the feeling is very strong. So we can use it for he was desperate for water. He really wanted water. But this, the feeling, is that he may die. And then we also use it for an emotional thing. Oh, I was going to change the camera. Can I do that? Yeah, I was going to put the camera up there. So maybe that's better. Because the words go down. So then you can see more of the screen. I'm up in the corner. I'm not blocking anything interesting in the corner. So let's do that. Try that this week. Sorry. So he really wanted water, but he may die. We also use it for an emotional thing. You'll see it in romantic books and romantic stories. He was desperate to be with her. I didn't click the right way. It's morning time. Let's get started. He was desperate to be with her. He really wanted to be with her. But again, the feeling is that if he doesn't spend time with her, he may actually die. The next word is philosophical. Philosophical. And it's about, I'm trying to think of the easiest way, because there's the word philosophy, which is how people think or how the world works. It's about the brain and the mind and thinking. So philosophical is about thinking. About thinking isn't a great way to put it, though. It's about, he was philosophical about losing the contracts. So I have to check. The problem is there's two. There's philosophical, because the vocabulary here gives us no context. So there's different ways to use it. There's philosophical, about thinking, and then there's also philosophical, reality, and disappointment. All right. So he was philosophical about, in the previous sentence, he was desperate to be with her. He was philosophical about never seeing her again. We're going to try to build a romance story with our vocabulary today. So this sentence, he was philosophical about never seeing her again. It's sad. Thinking about the reality of never seeing her again. That was a very hard word for me to just think of really quickly. And this maybe is one of the problems if you're actually doing the test. If you're going to do the test, you can't spend this much time thinking about it. So the best way would be to go through all 4 words. And if one word is perfect, you pick that word and then move on. Maybe if you have time, you come back and check it later. But I just spent about 3-4 minutes thinking about one vocabulary word During a test situation, I don't have 3 or 4 minutes to think about 4 words. That's 12 minutes. So you really have to think about time. So part of the benefit of studying vocabulary before the test is so you can not waste time. Because I can look at philosophical and actually it could fit into this sentence at first. If it was like Fernando is leaving, everyone was very philosophical about it, that sentence would be okay. The problem is Fernando has been something to the success of the company. Fernando has been philosophical to the success of the company doesn't help, doesn't make sense. So that's important. You can't spend this much time on each word. And this is one of the problems students have when they do reading, is they'll read and they'll get to a section and I don't understand this section, and they go back and they read that section again and I still don't understand, so they go back and read it again. Whereas really you have to read the whole thing and just try to take out the main points. Because if you spend too much time, you lose time at the end when you need time to do other stuff. Now let's get on to word number 3. Up here, we're looking at inadequate. Inadequate means not enough or not good enough. So it was an inadequate amount of food. So I'm a very big man. I need a lot of food. So it was not enough food. Simple as that. Inadequate means not good enough as well. So what would be a good example? Not good enough. The explanation of philosophical was inadequate. So I'm actually not very happy with the definition I gave for philosophical. I should have maybe taken some time and checked the vocabulary first so it was better in my head. But again, I'm trying to do this. This is an experiment. I'm trying to do it in a real way. So just, this is the word. This is how I see it. This is my first feeling. So if I check the word, I don't know. I'm still deciding how to make these videos. So the explanation of philosophical. Come on, Peter. Was not good enough. So you could use it. It was inadequate. He was inadequate to win the race, means he wasn't running fast enough. The machine was inadequate, means the machine was not good enough. The amount of power for the machine was inadequate. The amount of power was not enough to make the machine work properly. So inadequate just means not enough or not good enough. Instrumental. Instrumental, good. Instrument, I think everyone at this level would know the word instrument. It's like a violin or a piano, something you play. If you think about an orchestra, each piece is important to the whole orchestra. Instrumental is an important piece. So instrumental is an important part of a system. Maybe I should put that up there. Okay, so instrumental studying. Oh, I'm going to do some advertising with Sounds Great English was instrumental to me passing the test. Studying with sounds. I know what I should do. I should not retype every time. Was an important part of my study to helping me pass the test. Okay, let's get a little space in there too as well. So it's an important part I put of a system but in this case, the system is me studying to pass the test. It's an important part of the group or the thing. So the pitcher is an instrumental part of the baseball team. Since I'm saying it, I might as well write it. The pitcher is an instrumental part of the baseball team. So the baseball team is a group, it's a system. If you have no pitcher, you don't have a baseball team. If you lose your center field person, maybe the right field and left field can move in and they can cover. So maybe the center fielder is not as instrumental as the pitcher. The pitcher, in a way, is more important. He's a more important piece of the machine of the baseball team. So Fernando has been something to the success of the company. So everyone is worried about what will happen when he quits next month. Fernando has been desperate to the success of the company. Well, that doesn't make sense. Desperate. Go back up. Oh, so many pages already. He really, really wants something, or he really needs something. That doesn't help with the success of the company. Philosophical, again, I had trouble explaining it really quickly. Maybe the people or the boss, Fernando has decided to quit, and the boss was very philosophical about it. He was thinking about it. He's like, I have to think about the future of the company because Fernando is so important. I just said down here, important to the machine or the system. Inadequate. If Fernando is part of the success of the company, then he is not inadequate. He is very adequate. He is enough. So Fernando has been instrumental to the success of the company. So everyone is very worried about what will happen when he quits next month. He's a very important part of the system that is the company. Everyone is worried what will happen when there is no more Fernando. Oh, Fernando. Some people, number 2, some people feel the film was something, although it did not win any awards. There are those who believe it was a great work of art. So we have a movie, and some people think it was very good, but it didn't win awards. Those are the pieces of information we have to do to decide on which vocabulary is best. Overtaken. We usually use this like to overtake. I'm going to do a sub one. This is when a car passes another car. Okay, so that's one version. We also can use it when someone's ability passes person ability. It's very hard to make definitions, without using that. I should start using names maybe. That's why they always use names. So I studied judo and I was a white belt and there was someone else who was a higher belt. And then if I overtake them, it means I become a higher belt. So I pass them in ability. So if you think of 2 cars, I could do this. I didn't. All right. So you have 2 cars. You have a car in the front and the car in the back. And then overtake is to pass the car. But then again, I'm talking about levels and skill. So I study really hard and then my skill gets to be the same. And then it goes above. I overtake the other person in my class. So the overtaken would be past tense. So the car was overtaken in the race. So that's something that would happen a lot. The car was passed by another car in the race. So there were 2 cars racing, and then this one passed this one. This car was overtaken. It was passed by another car. All right. The next one, overridden. It's kind of the same. Overridden is a word I never use. I would use over. So for like data or something, I would use overwritten, which is a different word completely. Overridden would mean to ride too much. So you could do it with a horse. The problem is with this word, there's not many things I ride anymore. The bicycle? It would be a horse. The bicycle was overridden would mean the bicycle was used too much. So the idea, the feeling is that I've used this bicycle so much it's going to break. I would use it for a horse because a horse can get tired. A bicycle or a motorcycle or a machine can't get tired. Override the motorcycle would mean use too much and it's going to break, but motorcycles and bicycle stuff are designed so you can use them a lot. If I had a horse, I could override the horse and make the horse too tired. So we could use this for people, but I wouldn't use it a lot. The team was overridden by the coach. So the idea is that the coach is pushing. The coach pushed the team too hard, which happens in Japan. I do read stories about coaches in high school baseball teams and stuff, and they push the students too hard. They push this team too hard, and it's like the summertime or something. They get too tired. But there are very few situations where you would actually use that, so that's okay. Underfed. This vocabulary is very hard today. Not fed enough food. So the dog was lost, and when he was found, he was underfed. This is what I was thinking I should do to make this go faster. So copy, paste. Nope. And then the dog was lost. When he was found, he did not, because this is past, he had not eaten enough food and was very skinny. Underfed though, so that feeling is that the dog wasn't eating enough food. If he was lost, maybe no one was feeding. Underfed means someone fed you, someone gave you food. So that sentence actually I'm not very happy with. So I'm going to say not great. Let's do it again. And this is important. It's important to remember that, you have many chances. The bird was underfed by its owner and started to get sick. The owner did not feed the bird enough and it started to get sick. That's better because fed is an action. It's to give food. So if you're underfed, someone is not giving you enough food. Okay, so then this one is also underrated. I just realized what they did. They have over, and under. I didn't actually look at this beforehand. Again, trying to keep this to feel sort of natural. I didn't preview. Maybe next week I'm going to try previewing and maybe it'll go more smoothly. If you like it this way, if you like it where I talk about it while I'm thinking, please let me know. If you want me to plan it out so it seems almost perfect every time, you can also say that. I'm going to try a couple different ways. So underrated. So again, we have another word. To rate would be to measure quality. Okay, so that's the underrated. This part here is rate. So the movie was rated 5 stars. So you hear about movie ratings. The movie was measured to be top quality. How about that? We don't use this word like this. We don't use the word measure that way. Rated does mean we're measuring. So we have 5 stars. 5 is the best and 1 is the worst. I guess 0 stars is the worst. So we measure, is it a good movie? Is it an okay movie? Is it a bad movie? But when we say measured, we don't mean quality, top quality, low quality. But when we use a star system, that is what we're doing. So this sentence, the movie was measured to be top quality, is not a good natural sentence, but it does explain what's happening. Now, we have the word underrated. So this word is the quality is not recognized. So this is all extra so you can understand the other words. So let's put that in brackets. I don't know if that helps. I have to come up with a system for sub, so you know it's sub explanations. So I need to explain part and then explain the whole thing. So underrated. What's like a hotel or a tourist spot. I live in Nagoya. Is a very underrated city. Oh. Nagoya is a much better city than its reputation. Something like that. So if you think there's Nagoya, the city, and there's Tokyo, which is much more famous, and there's Osaka, which is much more famous. And if anyone wants to come to Japan, they're like, I want to go to Osaka. I want to go to Tokyo. No one ever says, I want to go to Nagoya. But, so that's its image, its reputation is low. But Nagoya is a really nice city. It's in a really nice place. It's got interesting things to do. It's a much higher quality city than people think. We would usually use this for movies. So in the example in number 2 here, some people feel the film was underrated. So that's going to be, so once I saw underrated and movie, I immediately started to connect those two things. Although it did not win any awards, so even though it was a very, very good movie, it didn't win any awards, some people think it was a great work of art. So people recognized it as good, but it didn't win any awards, so it's underrated. They think it should have won awards. They think it should have been recognized as a much better movie. Okay, let's do one more question because that's already 20 minutes. These are harder words because it is pre-1 now. Okay, so the sentence is more than 50 million people during World War II. So it's World War II. I think we know what happens in war. So we're looking for the word that matches that feeling. That is more deaths than any other war in history. So this is an important word because it's going to be connected. Because that is what they're talking about, this space, is more deaths. So we're like looking for the word here that matches death. Because the that in this sentence is referring to whatever goes in this blank right here. That hopefully will be helpful. So worshipped. Okay, so worshipped is to pray. So every Sunday they go to church and worship. This is present continuous. This is every week I go. So I will have to change it. So to be able to make it ED. So last Sunday they went to church and worshiped. So last Sunday they went to church and prayed. Very simple. Worship just means to pray. It's for any religion. So I went to the temple and I worshiped Buddha. I went to the shrine and I worshipped my ancestors. I prayed to my ancestors. My room is very hot. Sorry, that is what happens. I put on my work clothes before I do this, but it's actually much warmer. And it's a very hot day today. It's summertime. Okay, perish, number 2. These are all past tense, so I should. So if I up here, if I put worshipped, I should put prayed. Again, now this is what I want to figure out. So it shouldn't be to pray; it should be prayed. But then I should maybe do this. So that's the. So that's just the verb to pray, to worship. I'm coming up with my system as we make it. So that way you get the present tense, the verb to something, and the past tense worshipped. I feel like that should have 2 P's, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to trust the autocorrect on Word this time. So the next one is perished. So let's do this. Yeah, the word is perished, and then it's died, but the verb is to perish, to die. So because of what I said before, that we're looking for the word that matches deaths, we already know that perished is going to be the word in here. We still want to do the definition. The bird from before, the underfed bird eventually perished. It's so sad. The underfed bird eventually died. That's all it means. Very simple. I could say like my car perished or something like that, but it's really just for people and animals, anything that can die. Haunted. Haunted? I was about to say, because it's about ghosts. Haunted means, because usually we just say haunted, we don't define the word. Haunted means there are ghosts. I didn't think I'd have to define a word like that. That's interesting. It is to haunt, but it's not a simple verb now. It's ghosts stay and scare people, I think would actually be a pretty good definition. I was surprised. I wasn't ready for that one. To haunt, so if you think of a horror movie, a scary movie, the ghost, it's a dead person who's supposed to go away to heaven. They don't. They stay usually in a house, because we do have a phrase, we use haunted house a lot. They stay in the house, and people come into the house and they scare them. In Japan, there is the Ring movie. It's the ghost haunts the video. And then if you watch the video, the ghost comes out of your Sadako, comes out of your TV and attacks you. There's also a movie called Ju-on, which is originally about a house. So a family all perished in this house. The family perished in the house, and I think it is haunted. So the family, so now we can use 2 of our words from the same vocabulary. Family died in the house, and I think I moved too quickly. And I think there are ghosts in the house. So that's a scary sentence. All right. Haunted, last one, jeered. Teased. So it's to jeer and to tease, or to make fun of. So usually it's like I make a mistake and then the kids say something mean to me. So I'm trying to think of a good version of that. Like, where would I make a mistake? It would probably be in school. I tripped in school and the other kids jeered at me. Usually it's more mean. That's important. It's not friendly. It's not joking. It's mean. To jeer at someone is not. So I will tease my friends. So I will make fun of them. I will make jokes of them, and we will both laugh. They will tease me. They will make fun of me. We will both laugh. If you jeer at someone, that person feels bad. There's no friendly feeling there. So that's important to know. The difference there is that there's no positive feeling. If you teasing can be both good and bad. So you can tease someone in a good way. You can tease, so like boyfriends, girlfriends, they tease each other. It's a way to like push back and forth. To jeer at someone never has a good feeling. So I tripped in school and the other kids made fun of me. I felt really bad. Nope. So back to our sentences, more than 50 million people. Again, I said that in this case, that relates to the space. That is more deaths. We have one word that matches death. It's perished. More than 50 million people perished in World War II. During World War II, that is more deaths than in any other war in history. So that's 30 minutes. I think maybe that's enough vocabulary for you today. You can find, I'm going to post a link in the YouTube video to a Google Drive where you can download this document that I've made, so you can have this yourself. If you have any questions or comments, let's put it right at the bottom. You can email soundsgreatenglish@gmail.com. So you have a question or a comment or something you'd like to say, you can send me an email. If you send an English question, I will try to put it in to the next video. It depends how much planning and how much time I have. I think we'll stop there today. So maybe do I need music? I need like goodbye music. Something do. I don't know. Hopefully someday students come and someone student with talent will make a song for me. A Sounds Great English song. Try to use some of the vocabulary we looked at today in a couple sentences. It'll help it sink into your brain. All right. Have a good week.